Some people say all streamers sound the same. They are not wrong, but they are not entirely correct. Hello everyone, welcome to Dabama Hi-Fi Review channel. Today I would like to share my experience of using recently released Eva Solo T10. I've been using it for quite a while. Beautiful screen, build quality is phenomenal. Probably best build quality I have seen out of many streamers without charging gazillion dollars. T10 retail for $2,180 US. It can take up to 16 terabyte of internal storage that you can add to it. It has galvanically isolated design structure, PCB section, AC power inlet regulated to linear power supply before supplying it to main PCB board for all the necessary digital crystal oscillators and femtosecond clocks and processor. Everything is totally isolated, totally try to be noise-free performance best possible way. Many of them have this type of isolation and design structure, but they be charging $5,000-$6,000. So this one is one of a kind and probably only one that's selling under $3,000. Oven temperature control crystal oscillator dedicated for audio master clock. And there's another one, secondary clock, that is handle internet management and playback system, including processor and all that. That is femtosecond clock that they feature in here. Eva Solo T10 is one of the better streaming digital transport that you can have without spending a lot of money. Let's go to this Eva Solo, and this is Discover. This is all the music services. Those are all same in all Eva Solo devices, and this is my favorite music. These are my audition music that I have, and then podcasts, and I don't use them. So those are there. And then the screen is, you got the screen mirror on your smart devices. Output ports, these are all outputs that are available. And next one is file, that is my music file. The setting, you can do all that. Oh, one thing, the important thing that I must mention is if you are using USB, right, USB output out of this T10, factory standard is not native DSD. So if you are a big fan of native DSD like I am, if you are adding internet drive to use that, make sure you change it to native DSD output like I did here. So factory standard is not just to give you a quick reminder on that one. And you can do upsampling and all that. So this one can also do CD autoplay if you add external drive. Compared to many other high-end streamers that has similar built-in sound as well as capability, this T10 is giving you phenomenal price and performance and sound quality ratio up there with any others high-end streamer. Only comes down to pairing DAC. That's the end result that matter. I'm going to try to explain plainly as possible, right? So when we listen, when we stream music from online, the master clock from wherever the data center is pushing it out of the supercomputer, the binary finds the ones and zeros and all the numbers go through how many miles or kilometers, or we have no idea how long they travel to get here, right? So before that, we don't know how the oscillator and master clocks work, how stable they are. So that depends, right? Depends on, power regulations and everything. But most of the time, they work great and very good job doing so, pushing out a lot of those ones and zeros out to us. So when we received it, this type of higher end streamer, what it does is received it before it send it back out to that DAC, external DAC. What it does is they clean up all the jitter and things that we might get interfere when it's that data is traveling. So ones and zeros are mathematically they are all numbers. But in the physical world, they are not numbers. They are voltages that we are receiving. That's why this type of high-end linear power supply and noise control, governing isolation, and high-quality master clocks and everything involved around to get you best possible sound quality when you are streaming from online, right? That's why some people can notice, some people are not noticing where the differences are. So where you want to pay attention to is not macro details such as drum notes or big notes such as vocals or solos or those type of things. Where we need to pay attention is micro details. Those are going to be most noticeable area. The decays and lingering notes that float around you, then disappear into infinity. Those kind of after trills and nuances that make big difference. So when we get almost jitter free, technically it's possible in modern day. So when we get that kind of sound quality, even that, when I was trying very same music back to back from internet drive to online streaming, I can still hear the differences. So if you are happy with $100 streamer, I can totally agree to that. That is your call. But if you want to spend over $2,000 to get the best out, I can totally give you recommendation of trying out this Eversolo T10 for good accurate sound with refined sound signature. Its sound is so refined and effortlessly redeliver unlike any other Android-based system thanks to that temperature control crystal oscillator and the way that they design. It's so refined and musically engaging, clean and noise-free sound. Background clarity and darkness is totally among the best that you will get out of this T10. In my setup, I try internet built-in solid-state drive with my music in it. I try that, stream very same music from Tidal and Qobuz using Connect app services. When I try back to back Billie Eilish Birds of the Feather, so that track has intro, snare and kick drum rolls, and those notes are well produced. When I try it on Tidal or Qobuz, underlick tambourine notes are not as three-dimensional and not as pronounced as using internet drive. So those are going to be different areas using this T10 internet drive versus online streaming. We have to pay attention to micro details and the way that they reproduce in that presentation, holographic sound staging, and all the micro details that come around you and reaches you. Refinements that you can get out of online streaming compared to entry-level streamers. It's not going to be night and day. The percentages depends on the system, depends on the deck as well as the room and personal sensitivity. Some people pay more attention to macro details than micro details. I was comparing with a few streamers and using USB input. I tried I2S input, it sounds very nice, but the problem for me is I2S all it would be messy because I have mixed playlists like DSD, PCM, high-res, DSD 5.6 and all that, right? So when I'm using I2S stereo image, gonna be some DSD tracks gonna be totally thrown off. So I end up using USB only for internet music playback as well as online streaming. If you only do online streaming, I2S can totally deliver that. USB output out of this T10 give me a little bit more engaging sound, slightly more richer in tonality of sound quality that I get with this Calubido Divinity deck that I connected using Accuphase E4000 and this S1EX towers from Pioneer D80 design. If you compare this Eversolo T10 with T8, aside from obvious better build, better power supply, those discrete linear power supplies and galvanic isolation, better master clock and all that, right, totally shows it in this T10. But T8 sound quality, I would say 25% less than T10 as far as end results go, whether using internet drive or online streaming. Online streaming alone, if I have to compare between the two, probably pushing a little bit higher, another 5 to 10% to this T10 sound quality over T8. So especially those micro details gonna be more blurrier, less noticeable on T8. T10 totally shows in refinements and resolution with incredible sound, absolutely noise-free sound quality and resolution, clear and dark background that it can deliver is game changer for this price point. That's why if you are looking for high-end streamer without spending a lot of money above like $4,000-$5,000 range, I can easily recommend you to try this Eversolo T10 for your system. It can be totally enjoyable experience, my friend. That is the experience that I like to share with you. Thank you for watching and happy listening.
There must have been an angel by my side. Something heavenly led me to
So great. On the bass, Mr. Torigoe Keisuke-san. On the guitar, Orima Yosuke-san. Yeah.